Well, hello there. My name is sometimes Heather, and I play Elder Scrolls Online. Let's, this goes this way. Let's, go to Hi, I'm Wilsonia. But before we do that, it's been a while. Let me tell you why. You see, about 2 weeks ago on a Sunday, I was happily playing Hogwarts Legacy and my screen goes black. I thought it was the mother of all loading screens, but nay. A moment later, I get a no signal message on my display, and after that, my controller stops working. At that point, I obviously summoned my husband to the rescue, and he poked about and said something is most definitely broken. At first, we thought it was mother, but after installing a new motherboard, we discovered that no, it wasn't mother. It was memory. Half of my memories got fried for reasons we do not yet know. Obviously, we ordered new ones, but because here in Finland everybody was on strike, it took forever to get new memories, and now I have more. They arrived yesterday. I'm going to show you. I have 2 times 16 gigabytes of Renegade. So I'm like rich in memories. No, that was why I haven't been online in a long time. Feels like approximately 84 years. I'm in my enchanted snow globe home with Similia. My Dark Elf Nightblade, who is a stage 4 vampire. I have gotten her a new armor set, and I wanted to test it out a little bit with my dwarven target dummy, and though her abilities are a bit slow, I really like the combination I have going on with her gear. So we're going to talk about that next week, but today we're going to go to Hi, I have completely forgotten where we are and why, so I'm going to show you how to find your next zone story stage. All you need to do is go into your map, zoom in on the area you want to target, hold X to open your zone guide, and press X to continue your zone story. Now the map will show you where to go, what to do, what to speak with, but not what. Oh, we're here. Let's get to it. That's the chance. So last time we started to unravel a secret here in the Isles. Hi, not Shivering. And now let's continue. I do hope this is the way. We left Lady Arabelle DeVoe somewhere around here-ish, kind of, sort of. There she is.
Over here, dear. We have much to do.
Coldest here.
Just as the Colossus watches over
As
Gonfalon
usual,
Bay, I was supposed to keep the Alliance leaders safe. I failed in that, but at least they aren't in the Ascendant Order's hands. Not yet, anyway. What did Captain Colleen and the others have to say, dear?
The captains believe the Order's leaders are Breton nobles and the delegates didn't wash ashore.
Breton nobles? Yes. We heard that as well when the Ascendant Lord and the Magus were speaking in the crypts. That's something to go on. And if the Alliance leaders didn't end up in the shallows, we'll need to look elsewhere. What else, dear?
Captain Colleen saw the dockmaster accept gold from the Magus that when they captured her.
Well, that's a lead we can investigate. I'd like to have a chat with Dockmaster Arnaud about that and a great many other things. I detest being lied to, and he did it with such conviction. You're still on retainer, dear. Would you care to join me?
I will help you interrogate Dockmaster Arnaud.
The Dockmaster's home overlooks the harbor to the west. Jacan and I will meet you there. First Quentin, now this. I hardly know who to trust. Times like these, I take a moment to contemplate the Colossus in the harbor. It helps clear my thoughts.
The Colossus actually reminds me of a huge statue in Rhodes, Greece. It is, I think it was claimed to be one of the 7 wonders of the world. I've forgotten when it is rumored to stand in its place, but there's something similar about the Colossus here. Let's talk more about it. Tell me about the Colossus in the harbor.
That's one of the wonders of the archipelago, dear. The locals are very proud of their statue, even if few of them know the real story behind who it represents. I like it as well. One of the reasons I bought the manor. Such a spectacular view.
Who does it represent?
The Colossus of Gonfalon Bay is Baron Admiral Bendu Olo, though most on the mainland would know him as the Colovian King of Anvil. He formed the All Flags Navy around 2260 in the First Era to gain vengeance against the Sload for the Thracian Plague.
The All Flags Navy?
The largest allied naval force in Tamrielic history. Ships from every nation and province participated, and many of the vessels were built right here on High Isle. The fleet launched from here and rained destruction upon Thras for their treachery.
And what does this have to do with finding the missing Alliance leaders?
Nothing, my dear, but you asked. Lord Bakara selected High Isle for the peace talks because of that history, though. The All Flags Navy recalls a time when disparate people united in common cause. He hopes to inspire the delegates to do the same.
Well, that was enlightening. Anyway. I was wondering whether I should turn graphics up a notch now that I have more memory and abundance. I used to have 16 gigabytes of worth of rituals, but these seem to be a bit better. And again, I think my settings are quite close to maximum as it is, and having like every blade of grass detailed in my game makes me a little bit comfortable. Sometimes your map doesn't want to show you where to go once you leave a city. When that happens, it helps to just leave the Way Shrine map and open your ordinary map. Dockmaster? I know. Earbuds. Kind of. Sort of. Perhaps. Okay, reset the clothes. Yes. Oh, enemies.
I can't seem to get ahead here.
I have the defiler set on Similia, and that brings a hunger to my aid. Not
Place is
on
a
every strike.
mess.
I imagine the Ascendant Order ruffians loitering outside had something to do with that. Let's look around.
Not every time, but occasionally. Now I need to look around Dockmaster Arnold's house. We find a prepared meal.
Someone planning to depart doesn't set a meal on the table.
Hungry. We find a ransacked belongings.
A few drops of dried blood. A scuffle, but not a murder.
And lastly, we find a letter to Dockmaster Arnold. As per our arrangement, here is your payment for your continued assistance and discretion. It is imperative that you direct official attention away from salvage operations on High Isle until we have finished our work at the Shallows. You may find yourself tempted to look deeper into our business or see whether we are willing to pay more for your silence. I must warn you that I strongly dislike renegotiating settled agreements after the fact. Stay away from the lock and content yourself with the handsome sum you have been paid, and all shall profit. The Ascendant Magus.
The Ascendant Magus did bribe the Dockmaster, just as Captain Colleen said. Nothing packed, food left on the table, and signs of a recent scuffle. I think it's safe to say Dockmaster Arnaud found that his Ascendant Order friends weren't entirely satisfied with their arrangement. They've obviously spirited him away.
Why would the Ascendant Order kidnap Dockmaster Arnaud when they'd already bribed him?
The Dockmaster ignored the wishes of the Ascendant Magus. Captain Colleen saw Arnaud collect another payment at the lock. I suspect he got greedy, and once he proved he wouldn't stay bribed, well, he became a liability.
Where do we go from here?
The Ascendant Order's throwing around a lot of coin on High Isle. If we follow the gold, we'll find someone with wealth and local influence behind this. Another clue that a High Isle noble is involved. Perhaps they want to keep the war going.
Why would anyone want to keep the war going?
Profit, of course. That's what it always comes down to. Lord Baccaro should be able to tell us which nobles stand to lose if the war ends. Go to Steadfast Manor, northwest of the city. I'll have Jakarn look for the Dockmaster and then meet you there.
Do you think anyone else is secretly working for the Ascendant Order?
Almost certainly. As I said, we must be careful about whom we trust. It is a concern, but it can also work to our advantage. Gold only buys loyalty for so long, and I suspect our adversaries are not as organized as they appear.
Why do you say that?
We know their opening move didn't go as planned. They were interrogating the captains to try to find the missing alliance leaders. Now they've taken the Dockmaster, who would have been more useful to them where he was. They don't trust each other.
Do you think Dockmaster Arnaud knows where the alliance leaders are?
I doubt it. If Dockmaster Arnaud knew where the alliance leaders were, he would have happily sold that information to the Ascendant Magus in exchange for his freedom. We know he didn't because the Order is still looking for them.
You think that a group that claims to end... Oh, let's try that again. You think a group that claims to want to end the war would want the peace talks to proceed?
I suspect the Order wants power, not peace. When the throne is vacant, your prospects of becoming emperor suddenly seem a good deal more promising. That sort of prize might tempt a noble with just the right mix of ambition, gold, and imagination.
And you think Lord Baccaro can point us at the most likely suspects?
Lord Baccaro worked diligently to bring the peace talks to High Isle. Not everyone thought that was a good idea. I'm curious as to who opposed him and why. Better yet, he won't voice suspicions without good cause. We can rely on his discretion.
Okey-doke. Let's see if there's anything to loot here. Everything's empty. Except the wardrobe. Hi, I'll go for that. Sturdy. Not a very interesting thing, but a diagram is still in that. How was it pattern? Same-ish difference. Did we miss a nightstand? Now I need to go to Steadfast Manor. The way is rather long, but this is the second stage of the main quest, and usually around this point the game wants you to go exploring a little bit. Look around, see the new area spread before you. What's that? As we head on over to explore a bit, it might be a good time to check out daily endeavors. I've already done my weekly, which was harvest 100 resources from the world. That's my baby. We need to either craft 4 items with the woodworking skill, place 4 furnishings, complete 2 duels, consume 4 foods, or kill 3 public dungeon bosses in breakfast lunch. So, easy ones today. Oh no, more enemies. I have a restore star for Amelia's backup weapon. That one is loaded with curses and hexes of sorts, and designed to be used before combat, not necessarily during it. We're so difficult. Though Snelia is a bit slow against a target dummy, she is rather fun to play with. I thought I might, now that I have my system back up, I thought I might stream again on Tuesday and take her somewhere a bit more challenging than the open world. I hesitate to bring her to a group dungeon because, well, she is a stage 4 vampire. And I'm not feeling very patient lately. So we might go to a public dungeon and just have fun with her. Meet a merchant.
Yes?
I really like the Grace of Gloom set, but it's a heavy set, meant to be worn as, or when you're playing as a tank. Interested. I don't have any tanks, so that set isn't like applicable to my characters. I should probably maybe make one that takes advantage of heavy armor. Maybe that can be a coming project. I got distracted. We're going this way. You'll need to travel.
You there! Can we speak for a moment?
This person isn't part of our quest.
I want to help Lady Arabelle, but Lady Arabelle asks about the nobility, while 2 of my retainers are missing. The Society of the Steadfast will do whatever is necessary to keep its people safe. She mentioned the Ascendant Order might be involved. Do you think that's possible?
We know the Ascendant Order has been attacking people all across Highland.
Yes, I understand that you and Lady Arabelle have tangled with these brigands before. They claim to be knights, but they have no honor. Will you do as Lady Arabelle suggested and look for my retainers? I would consider it a personal favor.
Where were your retainers headed?
I sent Grenier and Denise to retrieve a shipment from the Navir docks, but I expected them back ages ago. They were traveling the road to the south. I just pray no evil befell them. The supplies we can lose, but good people are irreplaceable.
I will look for your missing retainers.
Thank you, my friend. I'll confer with Lady Arabelle while we await your return. I'll tell her everything I know about the nobility of High Isle, if she really thinks that will help. I knew peace would be hard to achieve, but I never expected a war.
No one ever does expect a war, that is. Missing retainers seem to be a bit further away than expected.
Progress is slow, but steady.
No matter, we shall just... But at this point, I'm going for more coffee. Took me a while to make up my mind today. I will be right back. I'm returning. Must check if I am perfectly located. Where's my controller? I usually don't leave it there. Or do I?
Lost another one. What could it be?
We could take the road, but where's the fun in that? Here you can craft an onset. Let's take the opportunity to create all items with the woodworking skill. Jewelry, clothing, blacksmithing. What's on it? Where is the... Oh yeah, just never mind, never mind. Orders raw. Critical chance, weapon and spell damage, and increase to critical damage and critical healing. I have this on recipe and I actually really like it. Oh, Emilia doesn't know anything about woodworking, but that's alright. Not everyone needs to. Now let's deconstruct those two because inventory space is precious. Moving on, finding missing retainers. I honestly didn't think that retainers would be people, but objects instead. Oh, bunny. That reminds me of the achievement in Skyrim that required you to kill bunnies. That still makes me feel very uncomfortable. Search the area. Courier, Grenier's note. Ambush. Knights in unmarked livery. No house emblems. They were waiting for us. Tried to fight, but there were too many. Denise got away. She ran south, but 2 of these murderers chased after her. The rest looted a wagon. Don't understand. Lord Baccara was sure the road to Castle Navia was safe. Can't hang on much longer. Tell my... Somehow saddening. Like truly sad. Follow the tracks. First, let's just get rid of them. Well, this following of tracks is a little bit uneventful. In previous quests, you have actually needed to sneak in order to see tracks or even find physical tracks all by yourself, but here you just get a quest mark. Disappointing. Breakwater Cape discovered, and now we need to investigate. Let's do just that. Oh, it's a dell. I want to see the map before venturing in, just to give myself an idea of what sort of a layout we're dealing with. I'm uncertain if I've been here before. Coral crabs. There's a delivery truck outside our window again. They made a louder noise than usual and startled. I'm very easily startled. Similia has very few spammable abilities. I've made her so that she relies on heavy attacks. Uncertain that will work. Tomorrow morning, a wagon escorted by 2 Society of the Steadfast Retainers will travel to Steadfast Manor from the docks at Castle Navier. Take your knights and set up an ambush on the road. You are to kill the 2 retainers, a man named Grenier and a woman named Dennis. They have seen things they should not have seen and must be eliminated. Confiscate the wagon's load for use by the Order. Any other spoils are yours to keep, but remember the retainers are your mission, not the supplies. There are several good spots to conceal your knights between Castle Navier and Steadfast Manor. I'm sure you will pick up a suitable site. The Ascendant Max. Talk to Lord Bucaro. Dolores, who can be found at the Steadfast Manor. Wow, that was very brief. Let's now just return to Lord Bucaro. Though Similia is a bit slow in dealing damage, I am rather pleased about the way she keeps herself alive. That, I feel, is the most challenging bit as a stage 4 vampire. The second one is sustain. When regular abilities cost was it 20 or 25% more than usual? You need more stamina and magicka or a way to restore those abilities faster, more efficiently than an ordinary character. Senilia has turned out quite well in those regards. Well, let's see how she works. Oh, used it. We're back here.
I suppose I could use another break.
Or Bacaro, Lady Arabelle.
You return alone. I take it the news is not good. Grenier and Denise were not just retainers. They were friends. The Steadfast shall miss them, and so shall I. Please, tell me what happened.
Your retainers were killed. I found these orders from the Ascended Magus.
Grenier and Denise were helping arrange a banquet at Castle Navir. Then they were to collect the supplies and return here. What could they have seen that would cost them their lives? The banquet is just to welcome our royal guests to the island.
Grenier wrote this note before he died. He tried to fight back.
The Ascendant Order, plundering Steadfast supplies and killing our retainers. Damn. It was brave of Grenier to try to fight back, but foolish. The supplies weren't worth their lives.
We suspect a wealthy noble may be funding the Ascendant Order.
So Lady Arabelle informed me. I'd hesitate to accuse anyone, but perhaps you should join me at Castle Navir. All the nobles of High Isle will be there, and if my retainers did see something at the castle, perhaps you can determine what that was.
All right, I will meet you at Castle Navir.
Duchess Elea of House Dufort is hosting the banquet. She's decided to go ahead and throw the party, even though our guests of honor are still missing. Go to Castle Navir's courtyard. Introduce yourself when you arrive. Be discreet, please.
Why hold the banquet without the guests of honor?
Duchess Elea wants to project confidence, especially in light of the current situation. Rumors travel swiftly in the archipelago. The people need to believe we have things under control. I expected to pay a ransom and have the delegates back by now.
Lady Arabelle mentioned that some of the nobles opposed the peace talks.
Ridiculous. No one opposes peace. It's just that some of the nobles questioned if this were the right time and place. Duchess Elea, for example, didn't want to bring the mainland's troubles to High Isle. Not without hope our efforts would bear fruit.
Did anyone else feel that way?
Count Leonard of House Mornard enjoys brisk profits by supplying all sides in the war. He doesn't want that to end too abruptly, especially not in a way that makes Elea and House Dufort look good. He detests that she decided to host the talks.
It sounds like House Dufort and House Mornard are rivals.
Rivals and partners. House Mornard built its wealth on trade. They rely on House Dufort ships to carry their goods. But the two families have long vied with each other for primacy. The Mornards resent the fact that the Duforts rule High Isle.
Tell me more about the Society of the Steadfast.
My family has always believed that wealth is meant to foster good works. When the three alliances went to war, I made the decision to do whatever I could to help common folk caught in their violent wake. So I started the Society of the Steadfast.
What does the Society do, exactly?
We're not a religious organization per se, but we do take inspiration from the teachings of Standar. We establish healing centers and other works to show compassion and mercy to those touched by this terrible war. Soldiers and commoners both.
And you do that here on High Isle?
We're a small society that mostly works near the battlefields of Cyrodiil. I did turn a portion of my estate on High Isle into a healing center. We bring the badly wounded here to recuperate. The peace talks naturally grew out of our other efforts.
And so we have exhausted that conversation. We could speak with Lady Arabelle, but that's an optional step, so... let's ignore her. High Isle quests seem to be filled with endless conversations. Take everything. Now to Castle Navir. So cold. That way.
This work isn't going to do itself.
Waterfall. Let's go at once. That's really quite cool, actually. Waterfalls in ESO are of varying quality. Some look... oh, look at that. Some look rather copy-pasted, but some are very natural. This, I feel, is actually rather beautiful. Sorry. Important conversation about a delivery of now, let's continue. As postal workers decided to stop protesting and return to work, all parcels are now being delivered in a lot of packages. And there's presents everywhere. So that's basically a best work. I'm moving to right. I like best work projects. Page from Mendes Joe. Oh, that's all. I suppose that must be quest related. Let's see if we can get to that sky shot. Sometimes they're easy to reach, and sometimes you need to figure out an interesting detail. That wasn't very difficult. We must... Ooh, pretty. We must get to the other side of that river. That was close. So let's swim. No enemies. Or at least an enemy. Back at full health. I really like that quality about Sylvia. Seems to be very efficient against imps. I'm going to try to remember to open that way shrine because I have a feeling we might need those in the future. But Castle Navir Way Shrine discovered. So, I wonder if there's going to be a party. Should we change? Speak with counts and duchesses. Let's change. Role playing like cray cray. Overdressed is better than underdressed. That's what's like.
Might as well enjoy ourselves while we're here. Do you still prefer a Russafeld red, my lady?
That would be delightful. Thank you, Bacaro. Introduce yourself to the nobility, my friend. And remember, even the smallest detail could be the clue we seek.
Count default.
Such a waste. I have little patience for the vanity of our noble houses on the best of days. Right now, I'm sure we all have better things we could be doing. I suspect you agree. You're the one assisting Lord Bacaro and Lady Arabelle, aren't you?
That's right. I'm helping Lady Arabelle. You are well informed.
I try to keep up on matters of state, but I confess, Alea told us all about you. I am Count de Mard, the Duchess's brother and court mage of House Dufort. Tell me, has your investigation uncovered news regarding a sudden storm that appeared recently?
Yes. We think it might have caused the delegates' ships to crash.
A hypothesis that matches my own. While my sister chases bandit knights across the countryside, I wonder about the druids who make the wild parts of High Isle their home. They have little love for civilized culture. They could be responsible.
What do the druids have to do with a storm?
I don't think that storm was natural. The druids wield old magics and consort with spirits. It is well within their abilities to summon such a tempest. They mostly keep to themselves, but I suspect a ruse. Those are your culprits, mark my words.
You said you're the court mage.
Magic is the legacy and heritage of the Breton people. Oh, I spent my time mastering the sword in knightly pursuits in my youth, but I believe that a true Breton must study both halves of our nature, and perhaps the ways of the druids, too.
What do you mean, both halves?
We Bretons trace our ancestry to Needs and Elves who intermingled during the early history of High Rock. Therefore, spellcraft is in our blood, and we all at least have some talent with magic. I find the subject fascinating and decided to embrace it.
Do all Breton noble houses have a court mage?
No. Some have forgotten our traditions. Were it not for my talent, I doubt my sister would bother with a court mage. She sends me to look after Dufort interests in ports across Tamriel, rather than making full use of my arcane skills.
Let's see. I need more coffee, so I will be right back. Returning. I have returned. Mandatory placement checks. It's somehow law-breaking that vampires need to eat. Especially, like, real human food. Let's continue. Viscount Monarch.
I don't believe we've met. John Monard, a pleasure. My family is in shipping. We import goods from the mainland and send wares from the archipelago to markets in Tamriel. You're the investigator working with Lady Arabelle, aren't you?
That's right. I'm helping Lady Arabelle. How did you know?
The Duchess explained everything to the court just before you arrived. If Lady Arabelle had consulted us, things would be different. We know what hazards await careless captains making the approach to High Isle. Her ships were simply unprepared.
Hazardous seas didn't wreck those ships. The Ascendant ordered it.
Don't tell me you buy into this Ascendant Order nonsense. A shadowy order of knights working to undermine the governments all across Tamriel? It's a ruse, my friend. A convenient fiction to protect the flawless name of House Dufort. Oh.
You don't seem to think very highly of House Dufort.
Alea gained her station by currying favor in High Rock. Then she made a show of backing Lord Baccaro's steadfast society. But ruining the peace talks and getting heads of state killed? Blame must be placed. And she'd never fall on that sword herself.
Why are House Monard and House Dufort at odds?
My family ruled the archipelago for generations, but the Duforts were never happy in our shadow. They spent years poisoning the court against us. And when my uncle Avreep quietly supported King Rancer a few years back, it paid off for them.
What do you mean?
The High King stripped my uncle of the ducal title and gave it to the Duforts. It was an outrage, really. We took no part in Rancer's war. At least the Duforts didn't get everything they wanted. We kept most of our holdings, and it eats at them.
Are you in charge of House Monod?
Goodness, no. That honor falls to my cousin Leonard, and he can have it. I wouldn't want the responsibility. No, I'm content managing our affairs here on High Isle. I leave the larger concerns of the business and house to my cousin, the Count.
I see. One more noble person to speak with. Duchess Alea Default. Upstairs.
Lord Baccaro has arrived, Duchess. He brought that Lady Arabelle with him.
Oh no. We're wearing the same dress. Dang it. Should we change?
Welcome to Castle Navir. You're Lady Arabelle's assistant, yes? Then you know these festivities are only for appearances' sake. Our guests of honor have yet to be found. Rest assured, I intend to bring the radicals behind this plot to justice.
You're aware of the Ascendant Order?
I'm aware of most things that happen on my isle. It's true we didn't connect reports of mysterious knights to the Ascendant Order until recently, but now that we know they are one and the same, we'll quickly bring them to heel.
Is there anything you can tell me that might help us find the Alliance leaders?
I suggest that you and Lady Arabelle leave this matter in our hands. My knights have already pinpointed several sites where the Ascendant Order gathers. They are scouring High Isle for our missing guests even as we speak.
We have reason to believe a High Isle noble may be funding the Ascendant Order.
Which is why I prefer to handle this discreetly. I suspect House Mornard is behind this. They profit greatly from the war, and they still hold a grudge against my house for overshadowing their own. Frankly, I put nothing past them.
Tell me about House Monod.
One should be careful when talking about one's neighbors. Still, Count Mornard's dislike of my family is well known. Years ago, his father backed King Rancer of Shornhelm in his dispute with High King Emmerich. Emmerich did not forget it.
What did High King Emmerich do?
He punished Avreep Mornard by stripping him of his ducal title and granting it to my father instead. The Mornards remain counts, with holdings and estates throughout the Isles. But the Duforts are now the dukes of the sisters.
Tell me about House Default.
My family builds ships. Our shipyards construct the finest vessels to ply the western seas. In reward for our service, High King Emmerich granted us the Duchy of Sisters. We rule with care and compassion for all, even the Mornards.
I see.
Might I offer you a refreshment, friend?
Now, to speak with Jacquard. Friend?
Didn't think I'd miss this little soiree, did you? Listen, I have it on good authority from a very accommodating chambermaid, in fact, that the Duchess has been looking into the Ascendant Order on her own. Well, I've got a plan.
What kind of a plan, Jacquard?
Not Jacquard, waiter Fred. I'm in disguise. I told you about the chambermaid, right? She's one of the Duchess's personal assistants. Well, she told me where the Duchess keeps her sensitive documents, among other unmentionable items.
The Duchess told me about her investigation. What's your plan?
Nobles in the upper staff never pay attention to the common help. I easily filched a key from that stuck-up steward Hercian.
Oh my.
While I cause a distraction, you go take a look. Duchess Alea has a private study somewhere beyond the northeast door.
What sort of distraction?
I'll lure the guards away from the doors, but I'll need your help. Talk to one of the musicians and ask them to play the tune Stagger and Sway. It's an old favorite of mine. I'll take care of the rest.
Alrighty. Make a song request. I haven't seen this pose before, actually. Rather pretty.
Something you need, friend?
I want to request a song, Stagger and Sway.
I don't really take requests. Duchess Alea provided a list of approved songs she wanted performed. That one definitely isn't one of them. Not that she would notice. I don't think anyone is really listening to the music.
Now we have the option to either pay or ask nicely. Anything I can do to convince you to play the song?
Well, there is a lady I'm interested in. Layla. Highborn, you know. Out of my class. Normally, I'd never even be in the same room as her. Could you give her this letter? Even if she hands it back, at least I'll know I told her how I feel.
All right. I will deliver the letter to Layla. Which one is she?
The most beautiful lady at the banquet. Hair like golden wheat, eyes as blue as the sea, pale skin like the beach at sunrise. And freckles. She even has freckles. Sorry. She's the one in the red dress with a flower in her hair.
Okie doke. Red dress, flower in hair. Here we are. Oops.
Oh, hello. Did I just see you speaking to that bard at a stair? I notice he keeps stealing glances at me. Of course, my father would never allow me to... Nothing. Never mind.
Is this going to be a happy affair? Alistair asked me to give this to you.
He did? A letter? How charming. I wish he would just approach me directly, but of course he must worry about how that would look. My family wouldn't approve. I'll read his message in private. Oh, how exciting. Thank you.
And now to return to the bot.
You delivered the letter? What did she say? Did she seem... pleased?
I think she was pleased.
Really? By Mara's grace, I hope she agrees to let me court her properly. I'll convince her father I'm worthy of her hand. Anyway, I believe I owe you a song. What was it again?
Stagger and Sway, please.
Nothing more suitable when love is in the air.
Lords and ladies of the court, I dedicate this song and dance to the most buxom, curvaceous, voluptuous
Oh
of
my.
all royals, Duchess Alea.
You get down from there at once. Stop this nonsense.
I wasn't expecting that. Enter Lowen Castle. Oh wow, it's pretty. Oh. Also enemies. Most likely also multiple containers. Let's get them. Street lamp and candle holder. I think my crafting character is a little more. But that's alright. We have 2 ways to go. Rabbit pasty. I already know that. Well, this is actually a very nice place. And someone's at the door. Moving on. I asked too, sturdy. Not very expensive. Also, not very interesting. I think my crafting characters, which I just mentioned, have knowledge of that pattern as well. I feel that I've gotten some kind of me. Most of as more food, jealous, hungry. Most often containers hold garbage, but sometimes you can find patterns and even pieces of equipment you might need and or have use. That is the main reason I have to loot it. Or maybe choose to would be a better way to put that. Find Duchess Elia's notes. Stuart Persian's map. Interesting. Investigation notes. Oh, that's a long one. Apologies, but that's a bit too long to read out loud. Oh! We're under attack? I don't like this. Return to the courtyard. Oh, the map remained out in the open. Sometimes they do that. And they have given us a shortcut. Oh.
Tamriel's salvation begins today. Join us or be swept aside.
Oh my.
Storm and fire will bring down the old regime. Lightning and lava will herald in a new
Thank you for help. Return to the courtyard. Find Lady Arabelle and Lord Bakar. What has happened here?
This was a warning. No one is beyond our reach.
Jakarn, you may never dance again.
Stand aside and you will find a place in the new regime. Stand against us, and you will be brought to your knees.
Oh good, you're all right. It seems our adversary has decided to send a message to all those in attendance. Submit or die. A classic. Did you uncover anything useful before the Ascendant Magus made his entrance?
Duchess Alea has been investigating the Ascendant Order. I have her notes.
I see. Clearly, Duchess Alea's investigation hasn't gotten very far. Perhaps we can make better use of the leads she's been developing. But we have little time to waste. The Ascendant Magus demonstrated real power.
What do you mean?
Did you notice how the ground shook when he unleashed his storm? That's not a magic I've seen before. Somehow his storm magic is causing earthquakes. At least he hasn't recovered the Alliance leaders yet. We still have time.
How do you know they don't have the Alliance leaders?
Because the Ascendant Magus has made a show of wanting us to fear him. Why would he care if he had what he wanted and couldn't be stopped? No, the royals elude him, somehow. But his magic, I wonder...
Wonder what?
Among the other problems plaguing High Isle, lava vents have begun to open in random locations. Between the ground shaking and the storms, could the Magus have stirred the volcano? Let's return to my manor so we can study these items more closely. Lord Baccaro, it may not be safe to return to Steadfast Manor.
Nonsense. I refuse to hide from these cretins. I'll double my guard, but they won't drive me from my home.
Very well. I'll check in with you later. Jakan, let's go. And put on a shirt, my dear.
So, to Mandrake Manor. Here. Here. Let's waste some gold. This one is being lazy. I'm sorry, I'm not super hungry. Would the other way shrine have brought us a bit closer? Yes, it would have. Thanks for that map. Oh well, could be worse. Oh no, it's broken.
These tremors grow more powerful. I heard that volcanic fissures are bursting open across the Isles.
Well, that's actually what happened to the Colossus increase.
It must be the work of the Ascendant Order.
You give them too much credit. An earthquake destroyed the Gonfalon Colossus.
Yes, an Ascendant earthquake. Trust Zaji, he knows.
I have visited High Isle several times over the years. Never have I seen the ground so restless. It is alarming. Could Zaji be right? Could the Ascendant Order be causing these tremors and eruptions?
The Ascendant Magus said the old regimes will be swept away in storm and fire.
Storm and fire. I am troubled. If the Ascendant Magus can use powerful storm magic against his enemies, does he also command the tremors and volcanic fissures? It is maddening to even contemplate.
Lady Arabelle suspects a link between the storms and the volcanic activity.
Oh, Zaji is right to worry then. The loss of a monument might be the least of our concerns if the Ascendant Order can rouse the volcano. Lady Arabelle is inside, friend. Perhaps she'll know what to do.
Let's hope so. think you can actually reach the classes if you follow this wall. I'll go here and swim. I wouldn't swim actually. It's a lot of passion. Mandrake Manor.
Was it too much to hope that one of High Isle's nobles would openly admit their guilt? Ah, well, at least we can rule out Duchess Alea. Her notes make it clear she was caught off guard by the attack on the delegates' ships. And this map. Interesting.
What about the map?
If this map really points to sites important to the Ascendant Order, then it's our best lead so far. Here, my dear, take this with my thanks. With your continued help, we'll find the royals and discover who's behind the Order before long. We must. The map you acquired. We have a mystery to solve, my dear.
Ooh, what kind of face paint? Ah, someone's at the door. Face paints aren't that well visible when you're. I wonder what we got. But that will remain a mystery, just like the next stage of the quest. We shall continue from here on Thursday at 2 p.m. and before that, I will return. I will return on Tuesday at sometime. Not entirely certain about the time of day, but Tuesday. To show you a little bit more about Semelia's build. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you later. Ta!